There's one exception, possibly, to that, which is Amazon. Let's talk about it, Renita. I mean, kind of coming out of nowhere here. This steady grind, no breakage in the trend, put in a 52-week high. Nothing seems like revolutionary coming from them, just more of a domination of the logistics and the supply chain.
Also, I think Amazon has got a really good hold on the news cycle right now. We know that it's a heightened environment for higher wages among service workers, among delivery folks, among people in Hollywood.
That's right.
And this morning when we reported about Amazon raising the wage of its delivery service drivers, the third-party people who deliver your packages from the blue vans all the way to your doorstep, that was received pretty well in this environment, right? One thing that we didn't talk about, though, this morning was the fact that this program has enabled Amazon to be less reliant on FedEx, on USPS, and on UPS, right? And that's how we get to this huge supply chain that Amazon is really trying to take control over, you know, because the next thing, Amazon is expanding into physical retail. Their service is now going to let its 2 million merchants deliver inventory directly to physical retail stores and warehouses, and not just Amazon's own, but those outside of the Amazon network. So for different types of logistics providers and even different online marketplaces. And it's really wild because that story from Bloomberg broke down how Amazon is trying to get into your freight, ocean freight. They want to be able to provide customs. They want to be able to do ground transport, of course, and dominate it. They want to occupy the entire supply chain with one seamless service. The
market, I think, maybe has kind of forgotten somewhat about how important that is to the business, given all the focus on cloud and kind of the high growth tech stuff that, of course, drove the bottom line for them. The fact that the stock is now moving again on some of the retail efforts that they're making outside of their online business and, you know, outside of the cloud stuff, I think is really interesting because it reminds us that this is ultimately is kind of a I don't know if it's not a staple because it doesn't trade like stable valuation, but it has more and more similarities to essential business service and essential consumer functions, kind of almost like a Walmart, you know, where some of these retailers have done quite well. And you know, if you're an investor looking over the past year, you would probably be just as happy in a Walmart as you would kind of a pure cloud growth trade. So I do think the story kind of reminds us that Amazon maybe doesn't belong in some of the high-risk tech camp that is now under a little bit of scrutiny following the big rally that they had. Amazon feels like it's hitting its stride on the chart right now.
Oh, absolutely. And so to your point, the delivery service program has generated more than $45 billion in revenue over the past 5 years. And if Amazon is able to expand into ocean freight, into customs and everything else that you see, air, water, land, everything else, then it would be much larger.
Yeah, all right. It's a pretty interesting story, especially the fact that the market liked their wage hike for the delivery folks because other places in the market have not been as forgiving for companies that are having to deal with wages. But I guess if you do it off your own volition and not after a giant, you know, conflict with your workers, then you get the you know, a better deal from the market. So very interesting.
So.
Shares up 2% right now. 52-week high for Amazon, now up about 13.5% in the past year. Thanks, Renita, for the story. Thanks, Kev.